Okay, so hello. Today we have a great pleasure to speak to two lovely ladies. Michelle Nilson, teacher of Native American wisdom and flower essence practitioner and producer, owner and founder of Nature's Essence Alchemy and Light Essence Elementals. Yeah. And also Caitriona Hicks, who's an Akashic Records practitioner, an energy healer, herbalist, intuitive business mentor, flower and vibrational essence practitioner, and a women's circle facilitator. So a lot of things there. Wonderful, wonderful. So really looking forward to hearing all about your journey.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So all wise women. There's 4 of us sitting around here at the moment. We can just narrow it down to wise women, can't we? Oh, so much information and wisdom between the 2 of you lovely ladies. It's amazing, and it's so nice to see collaboration between people now, because as you know, Magenta Events is all about collaborating and bringing people together to get their voice out to a wider audience. So without further ado, and I'm going to pronounce this and you're going to correct me, you lovely ladies are bringing to the world an event, a journey entitled An Cailleach. Is that right? Yeah. So can you tell us all about it? What is it? What does it mean for starters?
Would you like to go first, or you want me to go first, Caitriona?
Is the Irish.
Is that me or Caitriona? No, I'm moving still.
Okay.
It's Caitriona.
There she is.
You're back again. So it was a practice before, so now you have to tell us again.
So the Cailleach is I suppose the archetype or the in the Celtic tradition of the wise woman. And I suppose then what went from being the wise woman to the witch, to the hag, to the old hag, and everything in between. So myself and Michelle had decided we were going to do some kind of an event in person. And we decided that it would be really nice in the Wicklow Hills or something, and we'd be dancing around in the grass and having a lovely time. And of course that didn't work out, and we thought, okay, we need to do something else. And then all of a sudden, it kind of just all came together, really. For me, in the last year, I've been kind of drawn to work with the Cailleach at a sacred site here in Ireland called Loch Crone, and it is megalithic tombs. They're mounds and cairns, and it's at Slieve na Ceallaigh, which is the Hill of the Witch. So I was drawn to go there, and I actually made an essence there. It's a busy enough place to go, but I got there on a day where there was nobody there, so I had the whole place to myself, and I made an essence with the Cailleach, and my essence is used for reclaiming the wise woman, and whatever that means to you. And then Michelle can tell her part of the story.
So I find it quite interesting that when I introduced you as wise women, and it sounds as if I had no idea what that meant. So I'm listening to myself again and tuning in. So I'm really pleased that those words were brought out at the very beginning. So Michelle, continuez, s'il vous plaît.
Well, it's very funny because, yes, as Caitriona said, like at the very beginning, we were talking a year ago about doing something together, and I think somewhere in the spring we kind of really jumped on it, just before this all happened. And we were kind of throwing around ideas, and what should we do if we're going to do this, and how should it come about? And then COVID happened. Mm-hmm. And we were kind of going, okay, well, that kind of puts a bit of a spanner in the works, but we still felt very drawn to work together.
Mhm.
So, we were kind of, doing biweekly phone calls with one another to kind of throw out ideas, to kind of bring things into more focus. And we just kind of landed on this because what happened is 3 years ago, I had been doing a wild woman weekend down in Cary, where my mother is from. And I had a really profound experience with the Cailleach because we were under a site dedicated to the Cailleach called the Hag's Tooth. And every year they do around Samhain, the people there still locally, respect that, that energy. But what happened is we had an unexpected windstorm come through. There was, people were staying in yurts that night and the yurts had been blown over. And a lot of things had happened, including I got very sick because I was purging a lot of stuff. But that's part of what An Cailleach's energy is about, is releasing, the past and releasing the old bones of, things that are no longer applicable. And I was thinking back to when it was so funny because I had this awareness this morning that when Caitriona and I met, it was actually, oh gosh, about 2.5 years ago, I think now. But we actually ended up staying in the same room together. And I remember people saying to us, well, I don't know, they said it to me. I don't know if they said it to Caitriona, but they were like, oh, the two Irish girls are together and, they're like two little fairies in the same room or something. But the weird thing is, when we were at the airport in Dublin, I was waiting for Caitriona because, we were going to be on the same flight and everything going to this event called Dreaming in a New World, which is part of the event as well, that we're doing. But what happened was, as soon as she walked up to me, I don't know how this conversation started, but I said to her, I said, I'm so tired of this one situation. And I said, it feels like, the witch hunt again or something like this. I don't know if you remember that, Caitriona.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my God, this is what it's almost evolved into this. And this is almost like what we had started out with, with that energy. So it's kind of funny, like I kind of said, okay, so part of what I think is, happening, in regards to what we're doing with this is that we're talking about where that witch wound, it resides in a lot of the wise women, and, why they aren't bringing that knowledge out into the outer world. And also that as women, as wise women, we all carry a womb. And in that womb space is the creation, the portal for creation. So, really connecting to that. And as the mound of Cailleach, La Crue, that's, Caitriona and I have both gotten that's like a womb space, going into the womb space. And, going into that womb space, you're going into the darkness, and we're going into the darkness of the year, and a lot of people are struggling. But I think a lot of people are struggling is because they either haven't let go of the things they need to let go of, or their attachment to the way they think things should be in the world. And I think solutions are coming from women. And when I say that, I'm not just saying women, I'm saying the divine feminine in men as well. And they're trying to hold space for us to move this wisdom out into the world. So I think, for me, it's like we're moving into that darkness of the womb. We're going to be using the mound of La Crue as the template, basically. And we're going to move around the directions and, lead people through the directions in a way that allows them to emerge in the springtime, birthing themselves as a new, you know, wise woman, basically. You know, that's always there, but it's like owning it, being empowered, you know, being sovereign, you know, having solutions, that type of thing. So that's kind of where I, you know, and I know Caitriona and I both talked about this. It's like there's an importance now. There's like a push for a lot of us to be getting out there and doing, you know, what we're meant to be doing in the world, because we each hold a piece of the puzzle, basically. So
Absolutely, that sounds amazing.
It sounds a fascinating journey. So
Yeah.
it's from the beginning of November until March. That's not 9 months, is it? That's not like giving birth in 9.
So we're coming into the time of Samhain on the Celtic calendar, and the time of Samhain is a time where we're kind of like we're finishing up one cycle, we're about to start in the new. So it's kind of nearly like a new year, where
Right.
you have like a reflection and look back on what the last year has had for you, and then what it is you want to carry forward, and how, you know, and setting an intention then as well as how you want to move forward. And we're starting on the 7th, and Samhain in kind of like people are looking going, well, Samhain is Halloween, isn't it? But there's an astrological Samhain as well, and that's on the 7th of November. So we decided to go in the Celtic tradition, that's true Samhain. And so it's kind of, it's the time then that you're kind of going into the winter, you're going into, you know, connecting with the ancestors, that kind of energy, you know. So yeah, that's the reason we start then. And then we emerge on the 21st of March, which is the Spring Equinox. Again, but it also, the cairn in Loch Crew is actually aligned to the Spring Equinox. And this isn't something I don't think either of us knew until we'd actually set the dates. And then we're like, oh, it actually, you know, it's aligned, the cairn is aligned to the autumn and the spring equinox. But so even though we're going into the deep cave and sitting with the Cailleach and, you know, kind of unpacking what we don't need, there is that kind of like, there's light at the end of the tunnel. There is always light. It's not, oh, we're going to go into darkness and get stuck there and, you know, not be able to get out. It's like we're going in there, see what's needed, and then move on out. And that's why we've called it Dream a New World, because we're going to be planting the seeds of what it is.
Okay, in the dark.
You know, in the dark.
Yeah.
As we emerge out as the wise women that we truly are, you know, have a better grip on on things as well, you know. So that's, and in the Celtic tradition as well, we have we go in a spiral. You know, their medicine wheel is a spiral, not a circle as such, because you'll always come back the same place, but with a different kind of perspective or a different way of looking. And so for us, we've been guided the spiral, so going in the directions backwards. And this is mainly, it feels like an unraveling.
Right. Yeah.
You know? So I think Michelle might have more to say about that, but it feels very important to unravel.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful.
So this is obviously a journey, so people will need to sign up before the 7th of November, which is when you start. Do we have all your information? Is it a paid journey? Is it you know, working with you? Do they sign up and pay for the full 6 months to get them from A to B? It's going to be a very profound journey, and I think it will be, I think people will find it very enlightening, I think, and possibly a little bit scary along the way. So I'm thinking
that's okay. That's what we're there for. That's why there's two of us.
Yeah, because we actually said that we didn't think that either one, I mean, we could hold it ourselves, but why would you? Like, really, like, you know, this is, you know, I really feel like, you know, Caitriona, if Caitriona wasn't there with me, I don't know if I'd be doing this, because it's a lot to be, you know, holding. But at the same time, I want to emphasize, like, it's not really about being so scary as it is about the courage that we each hold inside, you know, that really brings us to being our own heroine. Like, you know, we all hold a piece of something that needs to happen in this time frame. And I think a lot of people are feeling it, whether they're conscious or unconscious of it, they are feeling that this time is very important. And I think, you know, what we're being guided to do is we're being guided to help people unpack that attachment, that, you know, what's the word I want to say? Like the burdens that they've been carrying, you know, up to this point, without maybe realizing they're carrying some of these things with them. And I think it'll be a gentle enough journey, you know, to move through, you know, with, because not only is the Cailleach going to be, she's holding the space for us to do this work, but there's going to be other goddesses and gods and, you know, the different beings that are out there, you know, to kind of come in and say, okay, this is the piece that we have that we'd like to add to this journey. So, you know, there's a lot of support, I believe, you know, with the outer, you know, helpers, but also within the circle that is created. Like, there will be a cohesiveness in that, you know, as you know, we were kind of describing it as sacred sisterhood.
Yes.
Because you're going into the womb as women, wise women, sisters, holding space for one another, you know, and allowing that those other, you know, women in the circle to be who they are, you know, meet them where they're at, to allow them to release whatever is no longer working for them in their lives, so that they can move forward in a much more empowered and balanced way. So I feel that, you know, whatever people, if people are drawn to this, then the Cailleach has called them, basically.
Yes.
You know,
I believe that you'll be met where you're at as well. You know, it's like some people will have a deep dive, some people won't. It will be whatever it's meant to be for you. And I truly believe that it's like a call. You know, if it's resonating, then
Absolutely.
You know, it's for you, because it feels like, it's just one of those things. And as Michelle said, the space is very held by the gods and goddesses and other beings that we have been working with, you know, for a long time as well. And we know their energy well, and we know that they're here to hold that space as well. So it's going to be a good one.
Wow. So will there be live calls with you?
There'll be bi-weekly calls.
Okay.
Every 2 weeks there'll be a call, and within those calls, I suppose there'll be sharing, there'll be guided meditations, whatever comes up really is kind of
the other thing we haven't talked about yet either is the essences. That we're actually going to be sending bottles of essences for people to be working with during the journey. So so yeah, they're each participant is going to get a dosage bottle, for that specific time. And then they'll get another one, after that time is over. And it just depends on what's coming up, I think, because I don't think, we really know what is exactly going to come up for people. So I think that that's going to be guided by what is brought into the circle. So we're both excited to do that because, the essence is supporting this as well. And we both have an An Cailleach essence, which that was the other thing I meant to say was I went just a couple of days after the autumn equinox, and I think Caitriona had been there a month beforehand, and we both went there doing our thing basically with the Cailleach, and we both sat on the hag's chair, which is a major megalithic like symbol of the Cailleach basically, and I took my essence up there that I had made the first time when I was down in Kerry at the Wise Woman weekend, because I felt very called to make an An Cailleach essence there. But then I was told she wanted to upgrade the essence and have me bring it there. But what I didn't realize, it was 3 years on from the date that I had done the other essence. And I didn't realize it until it came up as a Facebook memory on my phone, which was really strange. So
certainly not a
anyways,
coincidence.
no, so there were a lot of things going on in the background where me and Caitriona were kind of flailing, kind of going, oh, what are we going to do? And like, how are we going to do this? And then all of a sudden it was like, Cailleach was like, hello,
Hello, I'm here.
I've been talking to you all along.
Wow.
It's like, knock, knock.
Exactly.
Definitely. Doesn't sound like just a coincidence. Sounds really like a calling. Let's do it now.
Yeah.
And I think between
coincidences don't exist.
No.
no.
Definitely a calling, this, yes.
Yeah. And between myself and Michelle, it's been a big, like anything that we're doing now has been a big part of our own personal journey.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, we've worked through this and we've gone through it and we've been there and done that and bought 1,000 t-shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it's a journey that you never actually finish, do you? I mean, it just goes on and then
It's
you
a
find
spiral.
something new.
Yeah, it's a spiral.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Oh,
Yeah, and I did hear on Cailleach this morning, she just kept saying over and over and over again, that old saying, the Tibetan saying about chop wood, carry water. We're all living here on this planet, and we each have to still chop wood and carry water because we are physical beings.
Yeah.
And this is how we bring through that energy that we carry. So yeah, I think, it's just going to bring us down into that physicality, owning that physicality, embodying that physicality, and, allowing what is in our spirit and our hearts to move out into the world. So
it's definitely time.
It's definitely time.
Definitely time. And
I think we're all hearing the call, aren't we? In one way or another, whichever our gift is or our calling or our purpose.
Exactly.
We're all being called. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
some are doing and some are supporting.
Yes. Yeah.
It's whatever, we've all been called to do, and it's definitely the moment to be out there and be visible and help each other's sisterhood in some way, to help each other and support each other. So very exciting. Sounds very exciting.
Brilliant.
It really does. Yes.
I mean, everyone, if they go onto the website, they can.
Yeah, all the information is there.
The information is there.
The buttons there. There's a choice to pay in full or to pay in over 5 months.
Okay.
And the total cost is only €250. So it's
very good to change your life and to become somebody who you're supposed to be.
Yes.
You know, instead
Sovereign.
of it's time to be empowered, as you said. So it's been so interesting to listen to you ladies, and we wish you so much luck with this, and you don't need it. It's there.
It's going to be brilliant. It's definitely the right time, and you've definitely been called to do it. So
Absolutely.
it can only be wonderful. So yes, brilliant. So we'll be sharing everything for you. And if you have any other information, you know, that we don't have, send it, and we'll add that too. And yeah, it'd be wonderful. We're really looking forward to hearing all about it. Yes.
We're looking forward to it too.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to touch base again at the end, you know, in March, see how it went and what's come up, and you know how the whole journey was, and because I have a feeling there will be other journeys for other things.
Yeah. We're not getting off lightly.
Great. Well, thank you both so very much.
We'll see you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love you. Bye-bye.